On April 27, 1978, crews gathered at a construction site near Willow Island, West Virginia. Their task was to continue work on a cooling tower, just another routine day on a project that had been progressing for several months. One tower already stood complete, while its twin was steadily rising. Before long, however, the site would become the location of one of the deadliest construction disasters in American history. During the 1970s, numerous coal-fueled power plants were erected along the Ohio River to meet the nation's increasing demand for electricity. One such plant was planned for Willow Island, a small unincorporated settlement in Pleasants County, West Virginia. But before we dive further, remember to like, subscribe, and share our videos to help support our growing community. The project, costing $677 million, was commissioned by the Allegheny Power System, an electric utility founded in 1925. For the cooling towers, they contracted Research Cottrell, a New Jersey firm with extensive experience, having already constructed 35 towers across the country. Their contract for the 2 Willow Island towers totaled $12 million, with each tower designed to reach 430 feet, or 131 meters, in height. The design followed the typical hyperboloid shape seen in most cooling towers, resembling a hollow concrete hourglass. Research Cottrell employed its own patented construction method, considered advanced enough that blueprints were often withheld from job sites to prevent theft. Traditionally, cooling towers were erected using freestanding scaffolding, gradually extended upward as the tower rose. That approach, however, was slow and costly. Research Cottrell's method was quicker and more cost-effective. Instead of building a scaffold from the ground up, they attached the scaffold directly to the tower itself. Using hydraulic jacks, it could be lifted upward as new sections were added. Cranes fixed to the scaffold handled the lifting of materials. Construction advanced in layers, each approximately 5 feet, or 1.5 meters, of reinforced concrete. These lifts were poured daily and left to harden overnight. The following morning, workers raised the scaffold, fastened it to the new layer, and resumed work. The first tower at Willow Island was finished in August 1977. Work then shifted to the second. By late April 1978, the second tower had reached 166 feet, or 51 meters. On the cold morning of April 27th, a group of 51 workers, concrete specialists, carpenters, and steelmen, assembled on the scaffold to begin Lift 29. The platform was anchored to concrete poured just 20 hours earlier under wet and near-freezing conditions. As a crane hoisted a bucket of concrete skyward, its stabilizing cable suddenly went slack. The crane lurched inward, dragging the scaffold and a fresh section of concrete with it. The collapse began at the crane's location, but as one section gave way, it pulled the neighboring sections down as well. Within moments, the failure swept around the tower's rim in both directions until the entire top gave way. The men on the scaffold had only seconds to react. A bystander, Katie Robinson, recalled seeing them hesitate, first moving one way, then the other, as if to jump. But before they could escape, the structure came crashing down. On the ground, other workers shielded themselves from the rain of debris, then rushed forward to search for survivors among the wreckage at the tower's base. In such a small community, those searching were often looking for friends or even relatives. Fire crews from 4 West Virginia towns and 1 from Ohio responded, along with ambulances from 2 local hospitals. Among the first paramedics on scene was Tim Stone. He later remembered pulling through the gates to a scene of chaos, machines tearing at twisted steel and concrete as rescuers tried to uncover trapped men. When he asked what the situation was, workers told him bluntly, "They're all dead." Shocked, he pressed for clarity, only to be told that all 51 men had perished, with no survivors. Some may have attempted to leap clear, but none survived. Many fell onto rebar or machinery, while others were struck by cascading concrete and steel. Even a surgeon sent to provide medical aid was sent home. There were no injuries to treat, only fatalities. The Belmont Volunteer Fire Department nearby was turned into a temporary morgue. Families, many of whom had multiple members working on the site, were brought there for identifications. In numerous cases, bodies were so badly crushed that only items found in their pockets confirmed who they were. As recovery efforts went on, locals rallied to support responders, bringing food, hot drinks, and even helping with clerical work such as processing death certificates. Nearly everyone in the area had lost someone they knew. One woman, Angie Steele, endured unimaginable grief, losing nearly her entire family, 11 male relatives, in the catastrophe. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, launched an immediate investigation, with the National Bureau of Standards joining shortly afterward. The tragedy captured national attention, prompting President Jimmy Carter to personally visit the site and extend condolences days later. The investigation determined that the collapse occurred because construction loads were placed on concrete before it had cured adequately to bear such weight. In simpler terms, the scaffold was attached to concrete that had not yet hardened enough to support it. Weather played a role. The cold, rainy conditions delayed curing, but standard procedure should have required testing the concrete strength before use. Investigators also uncovered serious safety failings. Crucial bolts missing from the scaffold, substandard materials in use, only a single access ladder, and modifications to lifting equipment carried out without engineering approval. Any one of these issues, if corrected, could have prevented the tragedy. OSHA ultimately cited the contractors for 20 violations, 10 willful, 10 serious, proposing fines of $108,300. After settlement, penalties were reduced to $85,500. The Willow Island disaster, one of the most catastrophic in American construction history, spurred swift reforms. OSHA introduced stricter safety standards for construction workers, reinforced by amendments to the U.S. Construction Safety Act. Concrete testing before scaffolding loads became mandatory. Despite the tragedy, the second cooling tower was eventually completed and remains operational to this day. Today, a memorial near the site honors the 51 men who lost their lives. The Willow Island collapse stands as the deadliest construction accident in American history, a sobering reminder of the consequences of neglecting safety. Thank you for watching today's episode on Empire History Central. Please like, subscribe, and share so you can stay updated on all our episodes.